I think it's worse in this election, municipal election, for strange kind of nastiness than I've ever seen any other time. At least I didn't notice it before. One of the cases I wrote about in today's paper was in Ward 6 between Mark Grimes and Tony Vella. And the story about that was that Mark Grimes actually called me on the weekend. He's very upset at Tony Vella, who's a good friend of the show. He's been on the show even as a candidate, and also I've known him for many years as Constable Tony Vella from Toronto Police. So I was surprised that Mark was upset, and what he basically said was that he had met with Tony Vella a year ago when he was looking for advice about getting the appointment in Ward 3 to replace Doug Holliday, who had moved up to provincial politics, never knowing that a year later he would be running in Ward 6. And so he wasn't too happy. And we've got Tony Vella on the line, joining us for your side of it, Tony. And again, welcome back to the Late Shift. Thank you for being here.
Well, thanks, Joe, for having me on your show.
Yeah, you read the column today. I'm sure you heard about it. What's your take on all of it?
I just want to say hello to Ross as well. I got your call yesterday. I spoke with you, Joe, and I was a little bit surprised, actually, when you had called in regards to it. I met with Mark last year in regards to the Doug Holliday appointment position, and the councillors were going to appoint the person. And so I went out. I spoke with Mark at Eden Restaurant. It was literally probably a 10-minute meeting, and then I moved on, and his EA did assist me a little bit. But at the end of the day, I have a right to run where I want to run, and this is where I live. This is where I have the passion for, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with running here at all. It's we live in a democratic society, so if he's upset, it's very unfortunate. But at the end of the day, anyone could run wherever they want to run.
What about give him a heads up? Say, hey, listen, thanks a lot for taking me or meeting with me. You didn't have to do that. But I've decided to run actually in your ward, and I thought I should give you a heads up because I didn't mention that before. Would that be something that you would have considered?
No, there's absolutely no reason to. I didn't realize I have to actually get his permission to run.
You should have known better.
Yeah, I don't think if Tony did that, he would expect that Mark would say, "Well, great, let me help you get started then."
It's not like he's my best buddy, and I met him a couple of times. At the end of the day, I want to run here. This is where I best could represent my community, and I know I could do an excellent job, and we have an excellent team, and we're going to do it. And I've been talking to many residents, and they're looking for that change, and they're looking for someone who's a visionary. They're looking for someone who's going to be available for them. And I'll give you an example, Joe and Ross. Tonight, a gentleman was complaining about the lack of parking in the Legion Road and Lakeshore. And I met with him today at 8:30 to look at the area, and we spoke about it, and he has a good point. There's a lack of planning before development. And at the end of the day, I have a right to run where I want to run. If he feels that way, it's very unfortunate. But
what was the reaction today to that story out in the ward?
Well, I noticed online there was, they thought it was really petty from what I'm gathering, and at the end of the day, you have to move on. The citizens on this Monday coming up will make a decision. Let the best person win. At the end of the day, it's our bosses are the citizens. You work, you have to work hard for them. One thing I've realized is you can never let them down. You have to be there for them 24 hours a day. And when it comes to election period, they'll make the decision.
Tony, we've got Mark Grimes on the line. Do you want to join them? You guys go together, or do you want to wait till after the break and have Mark on?
How about whatever you prefer?
Mark? Are you there? Do you want to talk with Tony on, or do you want to?
I'll wait to the end. I'll wait. Listen to his bullshit.
Okay, well, let's, Tony. So we'll have Mark Grimes on after to counter what you have to say. Last word before we let you go, Tony.
At the end of the day, it's a democratic society. Anyone could run wherever they want to run, and the citizens will decide who they want. And it's important to represent the community well.
Okay, Tony Vella in Ward 6. Thank you very much for joining us, and we appreciate it. And listen in, and when we come back from the break, Mark Grimes will will join us, and we'll hear Mark Grimes' side of it, the councillor from Ward 6. You listened to what Tony had to say. Mark, what are your thoughts on all of this?
Well, Joe Ross, I heard some of it, and little disappointed in Officer Vella, and he's not telling the truth, the whole truth, but it wasn't a 10-minute conversation we had. I know you'd had a chance to talk to Jim Reiki, our mutual friend, who asked me to sit down for lunch and give Tony some pointers, and we sat there, and it was a long-winded lunch, and he got all the information needed from me. He told me at that point he was going to run in Doug Hawley's ward, and I was more than happy to help him out. So through that, I brought him to City Hall. He styled my executive assistant for probably more than 2 hours, giving all the things he had to do. And then further from that, I said, listen, why don't you come out to a couple of community meetings I have? And I brought him out to one of the schools, introduced the parents, let him speak. And, for him to come around backdoor me like that, this is not integrity. And I really question this guy's integrity, period.
Go ahead, Ross.
Well, I was going to say, in a way, it's a good thing. I like to see new candidates come out and learn what it takes to be a councillor, because I have to tell you, Mark, I look at a lot of the councillors, and I don't think we get enough disclosure on what all the councillors do. I don't think we know enough how hard some of them work, maybe how hard some of them don't work, and what it takes to get on. And I like the idea of getting some fresh blood on there, and everybody earns their position.
What I love about it is that Mark's nervous about the selection, and I think that's a good thing, because what it says is that even though you've served 3 terms on there, you don't feel like that it's a cakewalk for you, and obviously this election isn't. I see both sides of this, Ross and Mark. Mark has done a good job for a long time. Tony Vella is a good guy. He doesn't lack integrity, like you're saying, Mark. I think you're way off on that. I think what happened, though, was maybe a courtesy call. Would have.
No, Joe, I totally disagree with you. Listen, I said, the more the merrier. This is the world we live in, the country we live in. The more people want to run, the better. But don't come and backdoor me. You want my help? Come up in front. So I'm going to run against you. Well, you wouldn't be getting my help. So Joe, I disagree with you.
Well, no, I think
the more the run, the better. It's the world we live in. I'm telling you, I've done a lot for this community. I don't consider myself a politician. I'm a guy from the neighborhood. I own my own business. I took a step back to run for public service, and we've accomplished a lot. So,
can I ask you something, Mark?
Anybody wants to run, I'm good with that. But don't come and ask me, for all the advice. I bring the community meetings, let them speak. Come to my office at City Hall. Talk to my executive assistant, my staff, what has to happen here, and then come and not even a phone call and run against me. Not even a phone call. You don't come. You don't do that. That is zero integrity, Joe.
Well, Mark, can I ask something, Mark?
Yeah.
Are you telling me that all these councillors, as I see, and all the stuff that I see going down at City Hall, that there's nobody backdooring anybody down there? There's nobody down there sticking it to each other down there on a regular basis?
Listen, I run on my own name. There's 44 councillors and a mayor down there. I run on my name. That's the only thing I have. I don't run on any political party. I run on what I've done. I've accomplished a lot in 11 years. I took a step back from my private business to give back to the city. My father taught me that very soon as a young guy, and I'll tell you, we've accomplished a lot. We work with Humber Bay Shores Community Association, where Mr. Vella lives down there. He was on his board. He quit that. You just can't come down to City Hall and quit when you don't like what's happening. But I can tell you, we've done a lot, and I have no problem anybody running against me, but don't come in a different disguise and tell me, this is what you're doing, and then come back and then.
Councillor Mark Grimes is my guest, and before we let you go, you're out there beating the doors down. How are you doing in your ward, and what are you hearing on the mayoral side of it?
Well, we're doing well. Like I said, at the door, it's a great response. We're knocking every day. We got an army out, Team Grimes out every day, and people are. It's a mixed bag. People are tired of all the crap happening at City Hall. They want council to come back together, and again, that's not my baby. I run on my name. We're out there knocking, and the people decide.
Who do you want to see as the mayor in this election?
Again, I never support anybody for mayor, and I come out and say that whoever wins, I have to work with. Under David Miller, I worked with, and I've worked under Rob Ford. So that's not up to me. That's up to the people. Whoever wins, I have to work with. But I represent Etobicoke-Lakeshore. I've done it for the last 11 years. I'm going to do it again for the next 4.
How's the Ford brother Russ doing? He's one of the Ford brothers, isn't he?
Well, there's another one, Russ Ford. People are confused. He's NDP, and he's kind of running under both sides of it. But hey, listen.
But he's not a Ford brother, is he?
He's not a Ford brother, but you know what? He's more entitled to run, and I'm no problem with that. The the people that want to run in this city, I encourage people to step up to the plate and run in this city. That's
But
what
just
makes
don't
this
come
city
and
so
get
great.
your help first.
Well, don't come to me and then in a different disguise and come back and backdoor me in the back. To me, that's zero integrity, Joe, and I'll disagree with that. I love you, you know that, and I agree with you lots of times. But this one, no integrity, and this concerns me.
I just want you guys to get along. Anyway, good luck in the election. As I said, Tony Vella, Mark Grimes, both good guys. And
it's the playoffs, Joe.
Yeah, that's right.
Ross, go Leafs, go. Thanks very much, guys. Have a great night.